Yeah, I definitely want more Ember because, you know, I have X cost spells, and I just love having 4 Ember from the first ring bonus. The other ones are good too. Like, I do generally take a capacity buff. Honestly, I think there's a strong argument there for capacity given that my champion has that rally ability where she gets a buff to her attack every time you put a new unit on her floor. But I just love the extra Ember. So I can get an artifact, money, and a Hellhorned unit, or remove 2, duplicate, and heal the Pyre. Well, my Pyre is only down 2. That is hilarious. Yeah, Santa with, like, you know, the sinister side where he has a bag too that's full of presents, but they're like, you know, explosives or something, and he's got this sharpened candy cane. Maybe he has like frosted, hey Oregon, what's up, thanks for the follow. Maybe he's got, like, you know, frosted gingerbread cookies, or, you know, Christmas cookies that he can throw like shuriken at the enemies. Yeah, you can weaponize Santa Claus pretty easily, and it needs to be done pronto. I'm down with that. So far in this game, cool, Dima, you found it, awesome. Yep, and now you'll get notifications on both. That's one of the main things about Restream that I was trying to do, is to give people notifications on just all of the ways that they follow me, that I'm going live, without having to spam stuff on like Twitter or whatever. Also, just in case anyone... Yeah, explosive presents that he throws, for sure, Rick. So, like, you know, it's in polka dotted paper with like a ribbon, and it looks all delightful, and then he throws it, and the enemies are so excited to get it, and then boom. The VODs for all of this stuff go to YouTube and to Twitch, and then I will adjust them later as more polished videos with like the audio balanced, because sometimes the music audio is either too loud or too quiet, and then trim out the stuff where, like, I'm away from keyboard and things. And like I said, my availability has changed, so I'm trying out this daytime streaming, and it's going great so far. I'm so happy that so many of you guys that I get to talk to on YouTube are now able to, we can chat in real time. It's sweet. Yeah, you're right, Rick. I mean, permafrost, there's already some, you know, wintry themed elements in the game. For me, I take artifacts every single time I can get them, and I know that, like, later, as I get better at the game and understand it more, maybe that's not the right play, but I just love artifacts. Like in Slay the Spire, I try to go after as many elites as possible to get artifacts. Removing 2 cards is only okay, because in this game, you know, it's very... I'm sure you can get infinite combos and all kinds of really streamlined stuff going, but your deck size is such a misleading thing, because every time you play a unit or a consume card, which so many of my cards are either one of those things, then your deck is already getting thinned out. So this, in deck building games, you know, like if you're talking about Slay the Spire, I love removing cards, or if you're talking about Dominion, if you're playing like a physical deck builder, I love removing cards. But here I'm just not as enchanted by this as maybe I should be. And then duplicating a card, well, I already made 5 copies of a card, and then I don't need to heal. So anyway, I'm taking the artifact. Let's see what we got. Oh boy. Oh, this is insane. At first, I love the Forever Flame. This is ridiculous because it gives you so much Ember. But this artifact, the Trader's Quill, this combos so well with my 6 upgraded vent cards that now have consumed. So Yeah, I mean, now basically I play one of my vents, and it's going to do, at minimum, 50 damage to the front enemy unit, and then 20 to all the other units. That's hilarious. All right, Dima. So Oregon's asking, how do you play? So it is a deck builder. And so you start out with a deck of cards that some of them are set, but in this game, unlike Slay the Spire, your starter deck actually has a lot of volatility to it. It changes. It's got, you get like 3 variable cards, and then the other cards are determined by your clans that you get, your primary clan and your allied clan and your champion, I believe. And then those make your starter deck. And then as you go through the game, you're getting more cards that you can add to your deck. And you can modify those cards, and you can take them out. And then once you have your deck, you get into battles, and you play the cards from your deck as a kind of tower defense game. This is like, this is a hilarious hodgepodge of different game ideas. So it's a roguelike, deck building, tower defense game, if that makes any sense. And you'll see in the battle, I can explain everything better. I'm actually going to take this dude now. I have 2 really chunky guys. And this guy is great just for doing damage. Well, boy, but I also have a bunch of sharpens. No, I'll take one of these guys. That's fine. Now I get to upgrade my champion. So your champion is like your primary unit, your minion that you get to play. She comes in, he or she, the card starts in your starter hand, and so you get to play it. It costs 0 ember. It's kind of like in Heroes of Might and Magic, it's just your hero card. Or like if you're playing Magic the Gathering and you're playing Commander, it's your commander. So you always get to like use it. Kill all imp units, deal 20 per imp to the enemy units, or rally plus 15. I'm going to try this and see what I think about having her do damage. Okay, so now you really get to see everything in place. This part of the game is like, basically you get to choose one of 2 paths, and it gives you upgrades and bonuses for your deck. And then you take your train into a battle, and now I'm going to fight this clipped guard. So these are the 3 different types of units that I will fight, and this is kind of like the boss of this level. And you always get this choice of doing a trial, where if you want, you can make the battle harder for an extra reward. So I could choose Mark of Invasion, and at the start of the battle, enemy units will appear on each floor. That only happens on the very first turn, so I'm actually going to take that, because it's worth 150 coins, and 150 gold is pretty good. I have a bunch of imps that I can just throw down to take out any units that are starting on the other floors, and I also have Super Vent to do that. Okay, so now you get into this part of the game, which is the battle, and it's like a tower defense. The enemies come in on the bottom floor, and then they slowly work up each floor, and they get here to your pyre, and they do damage to your pyre with attacks, and if your pyre goes to 0 or below health, you lose. And it's a permadeath game, which is, you know, roguelikes are, meaning that the game is over if your pyre dies. So you're trying to put units down on each floor of your train to fight these enemy units so that the bad guys can't sneak up here. So because of this starter situation, it actually behooves me to start putting good units up here so that nobody gets up to the pyre. And here's some pretty funny stuff that I can do. For example, I'm going to put the Shardtail Queen here. Now, she gets a buff based on every time I put a non-morsel unit on the floor with her, she gets rallied, so she gets 10 plus attack. Every unit has attack and health. And the game is really cool because it tells you, here's 3 enemy units, these sycophants. And these guys, luckily, they're all on a floor together. And they have an extinguish ability, which means when they die, they give all of the friendly units who did not die +2 attack. But I'm going to kill all of these guys in one go, so this ability will do nothing. They all do 2 damage and have 1 health. Well, imps are these hilarious units that you can play that are very weak, but usually have a summon ability. Oh, Rabid Vermin has given us a strategy tip. I had no idea that they surged in strength based on how many floors they occupy. So yes, that's a great idea. I will take it slow. And so what I'm going to do is play this imp right here. And he has like a come into play ability, which is called summon in this game. And then he's going to kill every single one of those dudes with his extinguished ability. But he also triggers her rally ability, which gives her +10 attack. I then am going to play the Horned Warrior right here, which triggers her rally. And then I'm going to put this big fat Awoken Hollow on the bottom floor. I'm sorry, I'm explaining this so badly. By the way, all cards have, in the upper left, an ember cost. This number represents how much ember I have, which is the resource you need to play your cards. And this card uses X ember. Well, I'm going to use this card to kill all of the units on this floor. It's an AoE nuke. And the floor you are targeting is highlighted in green. And I'm just going to play this and kill all of these dudes. Now we have cleared all but these guys on the bottom, these light harnessers here. And these guys are not really a problem. They're going to do 4 damage to our big guy. And then what happens is if you don't kill the enemies, they climb up the stairs and go to the next floor of the train. And so they're going to do that. I'm going to end the turn. That imp is killed by her action ability. But that's good. Alright. So let's explain what's going on now. No, you're right, Cairo. It did not help. We're buffing her for later. But yeah, you're right. The bonus damage from the quill didn't really need it because these guys are so weak. But in this case, this dude has 35 health. So what I'm going to do is... Alright, I'm going to think about this very carefully. Okay. I'm going to put this guy on this floor. And then I'm going to put this steel enhancer on this guy. And play the Queen's Impling right here. This Queen's Impling will do damage to this dude. And then will basically take both of the hits so that this unit takes no damage. And then I'm going to play both of these vents, but I'm going to play the bigger one right here. This unit here, this collector, only comes into play for 1 turn, and then if you kill it, its extinguish ability is just you get 75 gold. So we're going to get a bunch of gold for winning this because of the trial that we took and this. But anyway, I'm going to play this here, and it's going to do 24 damage to every unit, which is basically killing them all. And then we can still play Vent again. And as Steve Shiny was telling me, I can still play this and do 20 damage for 0 Ember. to everyone, and then my Quill Feather will actually do even more damage to this front unit. So now we kill this guy, and our Imp only takes 2 damage. Another piece of information about this game is that it's very helpful with the UI, and it tells you this red X on the enemy to the upper right of its health indicates like how much damage this guy's going to take, and X means he's going to die. And if the number is in orange, it means you're going to take -2 damage. If it's in green, it means you're going to gain health. And I have 4 health, so he's going to go down to 2, but I don't care. It's just an Imp. Boom. Alright, so now we are pretty much hunkered in. Okay. So I like to have good defense on the bottom floor. And I think what I'm going to do is just put this Alloy of the Ancients on this dude right here to just keep him tough. I can't put any units on this floor except for this Queen's Impling, because units also have, in the upper center of the card, you see that there are pips, and for each pip, this indicates how much capacity this guy basically takes up, how much room this dude takes up. And in each floor, you have a floor capacity. I haven't upgraded mine, so it's at the default of 5, which means I only have 1 room here. And so all of these units take 2 capacity, so I can't fit them on this floor. I will, however, put this dude right there. And he does 10 damage when he comes in. Or I'll just say they do 10 damage. I'm not sure on the gender on this Queen's Impling. Anyway, and I'm going to put the Alloy of the Ancients on this guy. It's going to give him 24 armor, but note that it has the consume keyword, which means that once I play it, it's gone. It's like exhausted cards in Slay the Spire, and it goes in a separate discard pile called your consume pile. And some cards actually let you get stuff out of the consume pile, and you can always click on this to look at what cards you've played and consumed. Alright. Units, by the way, once you play them and they die, they're consumed. They're consumed once you play them, but they stay in play on the battlefield. But once they leave the battlefield, unless they have a particular ability, they're gone. Okay. Now, I'm deciding if I want to put units on any other floors, and I think I actually do. What I'm going to do is put this steel worker back here, and I'm putting him back here because he actually gets 5 armor for every turn that he's alive with his, like, resolve. And so keeping him alive longer means he gets to build up his armor longer, so I'll just have him in the back row. Then I can't play anything else anymore because I have no room, so I'm just going to pass the turn. Okay, and so, like we talked about, if the enemies don't die, they come up the floor. And then now you can kind of get a sense, and what I always like to do is just look, what's going to be happening here? So right now, if I just clicked end turn, what would happen is, we would kill this clip defender, these light harnessers would survive, this guy would take 10 damage, our front guy would take damage, this guy would gain 5 armor, this imp would die, and this guy would take 18 damage. But we're in a cool spot where we can start making things happen with our cards. All of our unit cards are nearly useless right now because we don't have enough capacity to play them, except for this one. So I'm actually, though, not going to play it. Well, let me think. First thing I'm going to do is restore this big guy. This guy has an ability called Rejuvenate, which means when he's healed, he gets +1 attack and +1 health. So this heals him instantly, and then he gets regen, which heals him and triggers that again, so it gives him more attack and health, so he loves that. Because he has 25 armor from the armor card we played on him, and he has 20 health, he is an excellent target for this card, which is called Sharpen, and it gives him 4 attack and spikes 4, which means anytime anybody hits him, they take 4 damage. So I'm going to put that on him. Now we can see that the tables are turning. We are now going to do some extra damage to the enemies here because of the spikes. I could play the Queen's Impling right here and do 10 damage to this guy and even protect this guy from dying. But I actually want this guy to die so I can have 2 capacity on this floor next turn and give him a better ally. I'm going to put this unit up here, even though it does nothing, because it triggers her rally ability, and it just makes her do more damage later. Man, the sound effect for her doing her imp ability is pretty crazy. Alright, and so now, sometimes this happens, which is that you'll get a brief respite, which means no new units have entered on the bottom floor of our train car. And this is like right before the boss, so we get a chance to kind of buff up. Well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put this guy here to put some armor on this dude. It triggers her rally ability, and then she's going to actually throw this unit and do 20 damage per imp to the enemy unit. So you can see these guys are both going to die. They're not going to make it to the pyre. These guys are all alive. However, we've got our vent card. But before we play vent, I'm going to restore this dude. Remember, when you have cards that cost X, they take whatever energy / ember that you have left, so you can't play these before another card you want to play, or it's going to use up all your ember. So I'm going to play this first to rejuvenate him, and then now we can play these cards. And because we've buffed them, they actually do something at 0. So I'm going to put this here, boom, and I'm going to put this here. I'm not... Oh, that was a regular vent. That wasn't a buffed up vent. I get it. Okay. So I probably played that in the wrong order. Okay. So, here comes the boss. I'm going to play Vine Grasp on this guy. And I'm going to do what I did before, which is put the armor on my dude here. Now both of these guys are dead. But before this, I'm actually going to play this card. And this is just a hilarious combination that you get. I'm going to put this dude here. And then I'm going to play this here. Now, what this allows to happen, I'm going to play this again, is now this guy has a bunch of armor. And so with all this extra armor, we can do even more damage to this guy with our spikes. So I'm just going to pass. Okay, so the boss has moved up to the second floor, and we're going to do 30 damage. Alright, so I can do this, and then throw Sharpen on this guy. And you can see we're upping the amount of damage we're doing to this dude pretty seriously. Actually, I'm going to put this on this guy. And then I will restore him and pass. Alright, so now the boss has worked all the way to the upper floor, but we're going to kill it. The only reason that this matters in any way is that you get bonus points for stopping the boss on lower floors, but I'm not too worried about my score. I just want to win. So I have one capacity, and we can do our dream combo. Play this again. Unfortunately, we didn't draw any event cards, so I can't actually even play any of these guys. Maybe this is the point where I have too many units. I'm not sure. If I increase my capacity, then my unit inflation will go down. Alright, so we got 200 extra gold and 2 cards that we get to choose from. You can see how many points we get based on the base score and the multipliers. So I'm going to collect the rewards, and I'm going to see what card I want. Well, I think we're just all in on imps, and this is hilarious. This guy's awesome. I love his big belly, and I love that he gives you 4 ember. Yeah, I'll take that. Interesting. This card is good just for the bonus of an extra card next turn. And extra ember next turn, if I'm reading that correctly. And it triggers all of our big Awoken units that like to be healed. I don't really want a bunch of sting spells in our deck. And healing 25 health is good, but remember that most of my units are thriving on armor. So I'm gonna try out this card. This is also a new card that I've never used. Yeah, Rick, I agree. And Graph does look interesting, so I'm gonna try it because I've never done it. Okay, so, well, you know me. I love artifacts. I can either get money, go to the merchant, or go to the caverns, or go to this side. And I can get 2 artifacts, maybe even 3, depending on how cheap they are. I got all that extra money, so let's go to this side. Actually, let me just get information. Spells get an extra upgrade slot. Pyre gets armor 15, or if you summon your second unit, you get 3 ember, okay? I'm gonna leave. One of the cool things about this game, unlike Slay the Spire, is that once you've committed to your path, you can actually go to these things in any order. So I want to see what offerings I get here. When a friendly unit is healed, deal damage to the front enemy unit equal to the amount healed. Interesting. 50% chance to swap the front and back enemy units when they enter your train. I'm going to take this because I'm healing a lot. And then I'm going to go back here. I think I'm going to buy this. If I re-roll, I don't know if I'll have enough money to buy anything. I'm going to do it. Excellent. This is hilarious. Summon 4 random units from your deck on the middle floor. Weird. I don't really like it because so many of my guys have summon abilities. I'm going to take this just to pump up my pyre and leave. And then I'm going to remove some cards. So cards to remove are train stewards, because they're too big. So this train steward for sure. And then I might actually remove my regular vent. Alright. Just because it has negative synergy with the other vents, and it's just not as good. Oh, I can get an artifact for Spikes 4? Yes. Okay, here we go. Alright. So, now, unlike the last time, we can actually start doing stuff on the bottom floor. Put her here, put him here, and then we have all this ridiculously this extra ember from the Hell's banners. So I can just do 32 damage to both of these guys, which is pretty funny. Actually, wait a minute. No, I'm gonna do way more than that. So I'm gonna do 32 damage to both, plus 30 to this guy, and then play the next one. Well, let me see if I need to play both. No, I'm going to save this for later because we're going to kill this guy and only take 9. Alright. Man, where's my imp when I need one? That's too bad. Okay, so we're going to put Vine Grasp on this guy to get to 75 gold. And then we're going to go ahead and... I'm going to put this guy down and put this guy down to get the... We're going to trigger our Hell's banners. Get a bunch of extra energy and use all of this. And you can see that we're going to kill the back guy and take the front guy down to 15. And then he'll have 5 health, but get cleaned up on the next floor. Okay, perfect. Here we go. Finally, I get an imp that I can play, trigger her rally, and then she's going to throw this to do 20 at both of these dudes. I am going to put this big fat guy up here, and then play Vent here. And now we almost kill this guy, and this guy dies. We're thriving. We're doing our best. Okay, sweet. There's a lot of fun stuff that we get to do on this one. So this guy's dead. So we're going to summon this guy in the front. He's going to trigger her rally ability, and then she's going to throw it to do 20 damage to each unit. Additionally, I get 4 extra Ember, and if I play this guy, I will trigger my Hell's Banners and get 3 more Ember. Why is that important? Well, because I have a variable cost card. I'm actually going to play Restore, though, twice on my Shardtail Queen, and this will do damage because of our Priory's Cloak to the front unit. Not much, but putting 2 stacks of regen on her will help her get her health back, and then we'll just put this down, and now we kill this guy easily. This unit died to the spikes, unfortunately. Oh, they're giving me a turn to just chill? Okay, interesting. I'll put this here. I'm going to put this here. This goes here. This goes here, and then this goes here. I'm putting everything on her so that we can try to kill the boss on the first floor, but also because she does a lot of damage. This is pretty awesome. Alright. Well, how do I want to do this? We're doing 154 as is. But I'm going to play this guy. And now we go up to doing 271. And then... let's see, who has the most? I'll sharpen her. And now we're doing 323, and then we can just vent. And this will do 52 damage. So we almost halfway kill this dude on this floor. Chirotopia, I'm not sure if I got it. I'm not sure if I got that. If I got the Ember the first turn or not. Wow, look at that highlight, Oregon. Sweet. The text just jumps off. Alright, I'm going to play a bunch of imps here. I'm going to give this dude armor, and we're going to play this guy here, and then I'll go ahead and sharpen this guy. Yeah, it does go, that's interesting. So, yeah, the text of the card is weird. I wonder if they're going to reword that, Cairo, because like the way I looked at it was in the same part of the card as the next phrase, or the next turn phrase, but maybe it just means it gives you the Ember back that turn, and then you get the card on the next turn. So it only delays the card? At least that's how I'm reading it. And then, I'll go ahead and restore this guy. We might take some pyre damage. Okay. How do I want to do this? Well, I think what we do is we restore, and then we restore, and then we vent. Yeah, we're definitely taking a bunch of pyre damage, unfortunately. Oh, alright, Steve. Thank you for that clarification. That makes sense. Man. Poor pyre. Yeah, it was the most damage my pyre's taken since I've lost. That was awful. But we got there. It was close. You know, it was funny. I was dominating so easily there. I really have to figure out how to synergize my units better. Oh. So this is the bonus unit that we got. You know what it was? I think because I took that trial that gave all of the enemy units spikes, my units were just taking this attrition damage the entire fight, getting worn down and losing their armor, and by the time the fight was at the end, they were just so injured. Alright, let me just go ahead and... This is going to be really, really good. +2 attack on Slay is sweet. Oof. Wow. Both of these cards are so good. But I'm going to do this just for some damage, because we needed a little bit of damage. Yeah, Rick, you're right. I'm just going to have to actually use those points on the map to heal it up. Last run, I actually even got a card that just directly healed the pyre. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I'm with you, Kyra. The imp cards are awesome as long as you can, like, get enough imps. And in previous plays of the game, I just never had enough imps offered. But because this deck just started with imps, it has gone really well. I like this card. I like rooting an enemy to make sure it doesn't get out of control. It's just a nice thing to be able to do sometimes, and it draws one extra turn that we're like, alright. Alright, wow, I love this. The Wildwood is such a nice looking ring, it almost makes you forget that you're traveling through the Netherworld. Well, you know how I love artifacts. Buffing my units would also be really good. I feel like my units, Dima, that is awesome. That is the way, Oregon, to handle class. Yeah, you know, I'm lucky that I didn't have access to this kind of stuff when I was in college or high school. Because I would have been doing the same thing. Yeah, you know, it's one of the best things about cell phones and, like, being able to consume information digitally is that it makes, like, boring situations, like being at work when you have some downtime, or waiting at the dentist office or whatever, it really gives you some stuff that you can do. Well, you know I love artifacts, everybody, so I'm going to tick over here to this side for sure and pick up this artifact. What do we get? Oh. Wow. Okay. This is really interesting. So these wing clippings are great with all of the upgraded cards that I have that have consume, you know, because then I can get to maybe play them an extra time. That's really awesome. This volatile gauge is basically a Snecko Eye, if you've ever played Slay the Spire, where it's like it randomizes the cost between 1 and 3 and gives you draw +3. Snecko is 0 and 3 and draws 2, but anyway, different systems to balance. That's fine. Most of my units cost 1, but the idea of being able to draw +3 each turn is pretty nuts, because it helps me synergize my imp cards better. You know, like, to make those plays where I need a imp and then the sacrifice imp card together. Cairo, I've tried to play NetHack. I watched a buddy play it and then tried it one time, but I know that I really, really need to reboot it, because it's like the OG, or one of the OG roguelikes. I think it's older than Dungeon Crawl even. I really need to boot that up. You're 100% right about that, though. Have you played it? Do you like it? Yeah, Rick, you know what? You're right that I do get extra energy with not only my Fell's Remorse, but my Hell's Banner. So I'm going to try it. take some money, and let's see. I definitely want to give somebody, yeah, and it's ongoing. When I looked at my buddy's game of it, it was insane. It had like way more crazy stuff in it than even Dungeon Crawl does. I hear it's harder than Dungeon Crawl 2, which is saying something, because Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup is a very challenging game. Yeah, that's what I heard. I had a buddy who, like, went super far into the weeds and spent a bunch of time watching YouTube tutorials, reading wikis to understand how to play NetHack, and then started enjoying it, but the upfront learning cost has always been a little bit prohibitive. Then again, I did sink in all the time to learn how to play Dwarf Fortress, you know, and that is not the most user-friendly game. I'm looking forward to seeing Dwarf Fortress on Steam as well, Rick. I can't wait. I love the game. I've played it so much. I haven't played it recently just because been doing other stuff, but that game took me hours just to get things going. Alright, so let's upgrade some units. So if I want to give somebody 25 health, who would that be? It's so satisfying, though, when you get your dwarves to actually do, like, what you wanted them to do, and nobody's idle. They all have a job, you know, and they're, you know, moving around. It's great. Yeah, Cairo, it has a completely, like, basically, they got these people to just do isometric graphics for the game, and I watched, one of the co-creators of the game talking about it, and the three-dimensional effects that they're doing, like showing you mountains and depth and things like that. It looks awesome in Dwarf Fortress. I always play Dwarf Fortress with a tile set anyway, just like I play Dungeon Crawl with a tile set, but nah, graphics are great. Yeah, the lore is amazing too. The fact that it generates like history for 1,000 years every time you play the game, and then you have some dwarf like carve something artistic on the wall, and it's depicting some battle that happened between the goblins and some dwarven king 400 years ago. It's just unreal. It's super deep, the way that they simulate even just clicking on a dwarf and seeing all their thoughts and feelings throughout the day is just amazing. Do I want somebody to have quick? This guy probably needs quick, because he has 7 health. And then, yeah, we can give a bunch of rage to somebody. Why not this guy? Alright, so now that guy is just doing good stuff. Alright, and here we go. Alright, so we're fighting Archus, Darkness Incarnate. And he applies Dazed, and he makes my spells more expensive. Okay. He puts these little, like, units on the play that do this. Okay, so let's see. So, luckily they don't... The gauge doesn't make your champion cost more. Yeah, this guy is a jerk. Dude, I'll tell you what, Cairo, I was the same way with Dwarf Fortress. Luckily, I had buddies who played it in real life who helped me out tremendously. Oregon, don't tempt me. I haven't played Minecraft in a bit, but man, I love that game. I got Minecraft when it was in beta, and I was in graduate school and I was playing it, and I just couldn't believe it. And it had none of the updates, none of the stuff in it, and I've never actually, and I played it a bunch, and I've played it a lot, but I've never gone back and actually, like, beaten the Ender Dragon or whatever. I've never even done that. I just get sidetracked building like huge places and exploring. Yeah, I think when I got it, it was like 15 bucks. And it was just Notch and the guy who made the music. And it sold me even then, just the simple mechanics of it. And I can't believe what it's evolved into. It's awesome. I'll think about that, Ori, I'm telling you. Alright, so she's in play. We can just vent these guys down if we want, but I think what we do is just summon this to buff her up with Rally, and then we've got a Steel Worker that's huge that we can play in front, and if we play it, we'll trigger Hell's Banners. So let's go ahead and put the Steel Worker right. Gosh, I want to experiment with putting her in front so that when I get that imp that gives armor, she gets it instead of the other guy, but let's keep her alive. Okay, so now we have 5 Ember. And even though this is super expensive, I think I'm going to put it down. I'd love to get something that would give her sweep. It would be nuts. What does this do again? It's going to daze my people. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to play this guy, and then I don't even really need to vent because I want this dude. Oh no, she's going to throw this and kill them. So she's going to consume the imp with her ability, right? Oh no, she didn't. Never mind. It doesn't matter. The imp just dies. Alright. Here comes the fun. What does this one do? It enchants. That's a bummer. Alright, so we'll have to play spells last, but these don't count as spells. Cairo, this is not the final boss. This game has 9 rings that you have to get through. And every 3 rings, you fight like a full-on boss. And so this is the second to last boss. The way I like to think about it, if you've ever played Slay the Spire, is like this is like the Act 2 boss. So it is a legit boss. It's bigger than the mid-bosses. I'm going to do this to get the extra pyre, and then we trigger Hell's Banner, so now we have like just pyre for days. I'm going to put the cheaper one right here. Then I'm going to put this big one here. I'm going to put Alloy the Ancients on her. And then do I want to summon this guy here? Yeah, I don't want to draw him again. This is fine. By the way, just asking you guys, what I hear in my ears is different than what you're hearing. So I just want to make sure that the level between like my voice and the game volume is okay. Just let me know if I need to tweak something. Alright, so we can... Oh man, this is like the worst... Great, Rick, thank you. This is like the worst turn of my life. I get to draw 3 extra cards, but I did not draw an imp to play with important work or impressive. What a shame. But we did draw some other good stuff. So, these units both die doing 10 damage right here. And I'm going to vent this floor. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna heal this dude because he loves getting healed. And then right, exactly, Cairo. It's like I got the output, I got all the damage, I could be doing all this cool stuff, but I don't have the imps. And I thought that drawing extra would smooth that out, but it's not a guarantee. You saw last turn I had to end the turn with 3 imps in my hand. It was just, you know, a tough shuffle. Yeah, Rabid, you're right 100%. The music in this game is unreal. I really like it. Okay. I don't think it's worth it to do this when I could do this instead. I do get to draw an extra card next turn with this, but gaining the extra energy doesn't really do anything for me. This heals this guy more and makes him do more damage and stuff, so I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to just vent this floor. And that'll take care of everyone. We do some damage to this guy too. Cairo, I think that's an interesting point. It is like that, isn't it? It's like you can kind of vibe to it, but it's also like got this intensity. Just as a heads up also, when you fight these bigger bosses that fly on the outside of the train, they're flying on the outside of the train and usually like doing stuff to different floors that they're next to. But the thing about that is you can attack them with the units that you have there. And so I am going to hit this guy for 31. And most of these boss units, while they're outside the train, they can't actually do damage to you. So you can see like the shield, which would display his damage, is just blank. He doesn't do any damage. So you get to take free shots at him and kind of soften him up somewhat before you fight him. Alright, another turn where we didn't draw an imp to play in front of her. Oh no, we did. Never mind. What am I talking about? It's just because he was more expensive, I didn't recognize him as the imp that he is. But nope, we're going to put this dude down right here. And then, how do I want to handle this? Okay, yeah. I think I'm just going to sharpen this guy up and then vent. Do I want to spend more vents right here to kill? No, I don't. Alright. So this is a good turn for venting. There's so many units on this floor. Okay. We drew our imp. I could play... I can't. Alright. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play this welder helper in the back to pump her up. And then I'll only have enough ember after that to vent. But that's okay. She will throw this imp, doing 20 damage to everyone. Okay. Oh, he's gonna dazed all of my units, or he already did, so that's why they're taking, like, no damage. I get it. Yeah, Rick, you're right. I was, like, confused, and now I see. The cool thing is, though, now she's gonna throw that imp this turn. Okay. Or I sacrifice it. Ugh. My, volatile gauge was pretty volatile this turn. It turned most of my things into 3 Ember cards. That's tough. Alright, let's see. How are we doing here? Not good. I can vent and kill this guy, which I probably will. Alright, I'm going to restore him, and then graft and vent down here. So, what we've got going here is basically a full defense on most floors. This floor we'll take care of with a attack. Or a vent, I'm sorry. Alright, perfect. Drop this dude in the back, and I'm going to sharpen him, and then I'm going to sharpen her, and then we'll vent up here. Oh, this guy is 1 hit point away from not... Alright, I gotta get him. I don't want him hitting my pyre. My pyre has not yet been regenerated. Alright. Okay, so we are doing a lot of damage so far. I'm going to Welder Helper, and then I'm going to Implosion, and then I'm going to Welder Helper again, and this will trigger my Hell's Banners and also make her rally. And then now we have 4 Ember that we can use on sacrificing this dude to do 50, and then we can summon this dude there. Then I believe I will engraft this guy and use the next energy to put Steel Enhancer on her. I could work it out mathematically, but I'm just going to do it like this. Alright, so we won't kill him on this floor, but he's taking 1100 damage right here. And we have 2 floors left to work with. So I think we'll be able to take him down before he messes with our pyre. Alright. So we need to do better than 24 damage. How do we do that? Well, this is free, so let's just play that. And then we can... This guy dies on the first hit. So there's very, very little benefit to buffing him with, like, Sharpen and Steel Enhancer. So I'm going to buff the guy in the back. He at least takes 2 hits. We might have our pyre get hurt a bit. Looking scary. Okay. Yeah, Yeah, this is not the best result from the volatile gauge. Yeah, I mean, like, these cards, every single one became more expensive. That happens sometimes. Alright, I'm gonna just restore this guy twice. I actually think we're gonna lose. Yeah, I think this is lost, because I don't think I can protect my Pyre enough. That's a shame. It's a shame. I just didn't quite have enough. I think one of the problems was I should... It's really, really tough. Like, the imps were doing great damage versus the hallway units, or like the regular units, but I didn't have any units that could stand in and do enough damage to the boss. I also couldn't, like, replace the units that I had that I put down early in the encounter. I couldn't, like, you can't cycle them out, so I was kind of stuck with what I had and just drawing units again and again and not having enough spells. So it was weird the way that it shook out, but a good lesson.